Snow is falling once again, and the prospect of an early dismissal or perhaps a snow day is in the making. So who makes the call? Who decides if we go home, sleep in late, or sleep all day? To find out, we went straight to the top and spoke with Mr. Walker, our superintendent. Now with more is correspondent Matt McGuire.
Thank you, John. I'm Matt McGuire, and I'm here with School Superintendent Mr. Robert Walker, and we're going to find out exactly what it takes to close Kittatinny Regional High School. Now, Mr. Walker, who exactly is the person that makes the decision?
Matt, I'm the person that has to make that decision whether or not to close or delay the school opening.
At about what time do you start to make your decision?
Actually, I start several days before watching the weather, and then in the evening preceding the possible weather front coming in, I decide to get up around 2 o'clock in the morning and begin to follow the weather until 5.
And how do the radio stations find out?
Well, I have to call the radio stations and the television networks, and there's a code that they've given me over the summer that I use to give them the information and authorize their putting it on television or on the radio.
And who is it that posts the closings and delays on the computer?
I post one of the closings on weathercancellations.com. I also call the Sussex County Weather.com station, and an individual by the name of Nick Stefano, he posts our school there. I also call Mr. Fred Rung, and Mr. Fred Rung puts it on our own website, so students have or parents have 3 different areas they can check out the posting. The advantage of checking it out here at Kittatinny's website is the bell schedules there if we have a delayed opening.
And how long do you have to make your decision?
Well, again, I between 2 and 5 a.m. I'm gathering different types of information, but I like to make a decision one way or another by 5 a.m. in the morning. And at that point, I either decide to close or delay.
What helps you make your decision?
Well, a number of things. One thing is I go out and I drive the roads. I also contact the state police. I contact the various township road departments, and I talk to the other administrators of schools, both within our region and outside our region. And gathering all that information, along with watching the weather forecasts, we make the decision whether or not to delay or close.
If schools close, does that mean that all sports and activities are canceled for the evening?
Generally speaking, that's true. But sometimes we're on the tail end of a weather front that's come in, might be ice or snow, and the roads might be safe and clear by 11 or 12 o'clock in the morning. Too late to start school for instruction, but not too late to bring in some of the athletic teams. So at that point, Mrs. Kapler and Mr. Carroll call me, and we make a decision whether or not to go ahead with some sports or other activities, and then the coaches or activity advisors are called, and generally they have snow chain lists where they reach out and touch the students.
What's the latest you've ever closed school?
Probably 7 o'clock in the morning is the latest. So one time we had the buses en route, and a very bad ice storm descended on us, and I just felt it was too unsafe to continue, so I turned the buses around. That happened once in the last 18, 19 years.
What's the earliest you've ever closed school?
The earliest I closed school was back in 1995-96. We actually had to close school that year 15 times, and we had school run right to the end of the year, right to the end of June. And on one occasion, we had so much snow already piled up at 8 o'clock at night, we knew we couldn't get our lot open, and we knew the roads wouldn't be open or safe. And so at 8 p.m. the night preceding the day of school, we closed.
Well, thank you, Mr. Walker. And now we understand what goes on during those snowy mornings.
Well, thank you for bringing it to everybody's attention so they know that there's a lot of thought. It's probably the most serious decision that I make because I worry about student drivers. Not so much the buses, but student drivers are normally not that experienced, and there's things like black ice that they may not have experienced, so if in doubt, I generally close or at least put a delayed opening in. But thanks a lot for asking those meaningful questions.
Thank you again. With CNN News, I'm Matt McGuire. Back to you, John.
Now you know what goes into the whole decision-making process. I hope you've learned a lot. Signing off, this is John Kalosy with CNN News. Thank you, and have a great day.